So, welcome back to Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. In this video we're going through 5 things that I believe you need to do to prepare for the raid. Most of this stuff is going to be like generic, oh we already know we have to do this, but it's pretty much all you can do. And a lot of people aren't going to understand it, some people might have just picked up the game because it's been on discount twice now. So your very first thing that you're going to want to do is practice fighting against drones. There is more than likely going to be a hell of a lot of drones on Golem Island when they release the raid. What you can do to get a boost on this, to find more drones, the different types of drones, is you can head down to Egg Island, which is the southeast of the map. And this island is pretty much just smothered with murmur patrol areas, arm and assault areas. And then I'm not sure if there will be any or how many there's going to be, but if you are to come somewhere over to here, this is a behemoth defense area. These are the big tank things. And that's your different types of drones to practice against them. And that should give you a little bit of an advantage when it comes to the raid, because there probably will be a lot involved. Number 2 is going to be making sure that your aim is on point, especially if you're new to the game. There's different recoil patterns and stuff for the guns. You might want to get yourself to a couple of different compounds. You can use your drone to mark everything in the compound. We can see there's a sniper up here. And just mark all the enemies. There's a different drone. These are the almonds. And then you just want to practice just so that your aiming's on point. Because if you go into the raid and you can't get your shots on target, you're not going to be of any help to anyone. So just drop that guy there. Easy peasy. Take out the driver. Take out the gunner. Take out the other gunner. And then if you're using an AR, or any other type of gun really, just put different attachments on, get the stability, accuracy, control and stuff like that built up. So next on the list is getting your gear score boosted up. From 0 to 150 is going to be pretty quick. When you hit 150, all the way up to 220 is going to be a little bit slower. When you get to 220, it was originally daunting, and I say originally because you'll see in the gameplay in the background, obviously I'm recording this so my commentary comes at different times and stuff, it's not always necessarily live commentary. I'm taking down a compound that's not part of an elite faction mission, it's not a wolf camp, it's just a standard compound. You will see in the drone footage, these vehicle, the armored drones, are actually 254. The highest I can get my gear score at the moment is 250, but it's 249 currently if you were to look in my loadout. All of the enemies were always the same level, and you'll see from the drone footage that a couple of them are 249. But the drones are up to 254, and I'm playing on arcade difficulty just for video purposes, and to be completely honest, it's pointless playing anything higher unless you're trying to do extreme challenges or you actually want the challenge yourself. But you could only ever get 250 stuff drop off standard enemies. You would have to do an elite faction mission or a wolf camp to get yourself up to 252. I don't even think the wolf camps did it. I think it was just the elite faction missions. But you will see when going to the roof that I picked up a couple of items that were 251. I don't remember anything being in the patch notes about it. I don't understand why it's happening, but I'm pretty sure the game never worked like this when it first came out. So it might even be wrong saying that from 220 plus is daunting and tedious like it originally was. And if you can get 251 stuff to drop off normal enemies, then I'm pretty sure you should be able to craft it when you eventually hit that gear score. But overall, make sure you are playing the game enough to get your gear score boosted. The raid was recommended 150. I have no idea what is going to be when it actually releases. So if you haven't played the game, like if you're new to the game, you didn't pick it up at launch or whatever reasons behind it, then just make sure you get yourself as high as possible just in case they up the recommended and you need to be like 250 to actually stand a chance. Because at the end of the day, until the raid releases, we have no idea. Next up, and this one's actually the penultimate, number 4, that is to sort your build out. When I say sort your build out, once you've got yourself up to a decent gear score, it's time to go through everything, do crafting, grind and get good stuff on that build. I've got stamina regen speed and health regen speed. If I can get better on my hat, I don't think I'm going to need a hell of a lot of stamina for a raid. The gloves might be decent because of the injury resistance, although the throw range I don't really think is going to matter. So all of these bonus stats you get from having these things on your build, and even though you can't craft gear, so gear you're going to have to go out and grind, but you want to try and get good rolls on this stuff, like drone evasion might come in handy, max ammo might help out. Again, stamina, not going to make a difference. Then going over to the weapons, handling and range. Then we've got reload speed and range on that as well. On the pistol, you've got mobility and range. So if I could maybe get reload speed or something instead of mobility, because I don't necessarily need to move around fast in the raid, although there could be a timed part that's fairly difficult and mobility could come in handy. I would recommend to keep a few different items on your character so that you can switch between them for in case you need them in different situations. For all I know, for all we know, we could get into the raid, you could do it on arcade difficulty, you could run through it in 5 minutes. That's obviously not going to be the case, but we don't know too much about it, so this is just the basics of what you need to do to prepare for this raid. So sort your build out, get your gear score up, sort your aiming out, get that on point, and practice against the drones, because if they're quick, if you've got the murmur drones that fly around, they're irritating. If you've run out of EMP grenades, and you can no longer stop them in their tracks or destroy them easily, then your aiming needs to be on point, because, as I said, you're not going to be helping yourself, you won't be helping anyone else if you get into the raid and you haven't done any practicing. Especially if it's a tough raid. I'm going to guess it's going to be fairly tough. It should be the hardest content in the game for the time being. And I'm saying all of this stuff like it's, you have to do this or you're never going to do the raid. It's nothing like that at all. Just chill, make sure you're happy. Like, this game come out October the 4th. I got access 3 days early because I pre-ordered a higher edition, like a bigger edition. And I burnt myself out. It got to the point where I wasn't interested in playing it. So if you're getting to the stage where, oh my god, there's nothing left to do, I've done the story, I've done all the side missions, I've got myself up to 250, then honestly, I would say go have a break, play different games and stuff, wait until the raid comes into it, because you don't want the raid to come out and you're at the stage where you're like, I really don't want to play this game anymore. Because it does happen. And then the final thing, number 5, is wait for access to the raid. I say that because I did a video, I think I titled it How to Join the Golem Island Raid, and a lot of people are still confused. Obviously not everyone's going to look through Twitter feeds and follow the developers and stuff, but the raid isn't, like Golem Island as a whole, isn't accessible at this current time. The raid is set to release some point early December. So it could be in a week's time, could be 2 weeks' time. It shouldn't be any longer than 2 weeks, unless of course they come out and say, we're not ready yet, there's going to be another delay. So if you spend a couple of hours a day, or even 20 minutes a day trying to get into that Golem Island, then you might as well just give up. There is no current way to get onto that island. You're always just going to be attacked by the swarms. I don't know if someone managed to glitch it out, but they had footage of driving from the bivouac, like sailing on a boat, from the bivouac up into the island. But when they got up into the island, there was nowhere for them to go. It was literally just, oh, I'm on the island, but there was nothing they could do. They were still surrounded by the red borders. The swarm would still come and attack them if they left that tiny little area they had freedom in. So, practice against your drones. Get your aiming on point, get your gear score boosted up, sort your build out so that you're comfortable with it. Not necessarily 400% damage to drones, 200% health regen speed, whatever you are comfortable with that you can perform well with. And wait for the access to the raid, because the raid and Golem Island isn't currently accessible. Early December is the only time frame we've been given for it. And on that note, that is going to wrap it up for this video. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.